Hey, hey. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Dr. Kiki Ramsey Show. Come on in. Come on in. I'm super excited. I'm pumped up because today we are going to be talking about one of my favorite topics in the whole wide world, which is finding your purpose in life and learning to do what you love. Come on in, y'all. I'm excited to see y'all. I'm excited. When I'm always thinking about show topics and ideas, I get it from you all because you all give me amazing questions and topics and stuff like that. And this one has been one that is consistently requested. So if you are here with me, come on in, tell me where you are tuning in from. I definitely want to know that so I can give you a shout out and everything. So come on in, let me know where you're tuning in from. But as I was saying, like, this topic has been consistently requested, and just the fact that so many people struggle with this. You just can't even imagine how many people struggle with this. And so I am very excited to talk about this today. So I'm going to bring us in properly. Hey. Awesome. Okay. So let's talk about it. We are talking about discovering your purpose and learning to do what you love. Hey, Jocelyn, thank you for joining me from Washington, D.C. Hey, Claire, thank you for joining me from Scottsdale, Arizona. I'm excited to see y'all. And so we're talking about an important topic, y'all, like literally this is such a amazingly important topic that it blows my mind. So as most of y'all know, or if you don't, I've been working as an executive coach for, I guess, over like, I don't know, 10 years. Hey, Lenora, thanks for joining me. And it's definitely one of the things that I see the most. But when you think about executive coaching, yes, I'm working with professionals in organizations who have a job, right? We all have a job to do, but most of the time, what I'm hearing is that people don't know their purpose. And so I used to do this conference called Get Courageous, and it was all about helping career professionals learn how to level up, do the job they love, figuring out their purpose. And one of the questions I would ask in the beginning of the conference, I would say, how many of you know your purpose? How many of you know your purpose? And a lot of them would say they wouldn't raise their hand. And I was like, how is it that we live in a world where most people do not know their purpose in life, right? And so I would ask this question and nobody would raise their hand, and it would be amazing to me, right? And I do this in a lot of the audiences when I'm out speaking and keynoting and stuff like that about purpose. I'll ask the question, how many people know their purpose? And only a couple people's hands would raise. And so what I'm realizing is that we're living in a world where people don't understand what they were placed here. And so chances are they're not literally loving the work that they do, right? I have that slogan here, do the work you love the work you do what you love. That's my thing, right? Because I think that if we're going to live life, then we should live life from a place of happiness and love and caring about what we actually do, right? If we're going to live this life, then we should care about this. And the reason why this is so important to me is because I had to go on my own journey of really trying to figure out my purpose in life. And I started a long time ago from sleeping on the couch in the crack house. I knew that I was made for something so much more, but I just didn't know what that was. And so I went on this whole journey for myself. And I'm telling you, it took years. It took years. If you're just joining me, go ahead and tell us where you're joining from. I would love to give you a shout out. But it took years, right? And I was like, why is this thing so daggone hard for us to figure out what our purpose is all about? And so I went on this journey, and it was some of the hardest stuff that I had to actually do. Like, I mean, I was so disgusted with myself because I thought that I should already know, right? I was in positions and in jobs and doing things that I absolutely wasn't super passionate about. But of course, we all got to make money, right? Hi, Christina. Thanks for joining me. And so I literally, oh, for Berea, yay, I'm so glad you're here. Berea College, y'all. Shout out to Berea College, my alma mater in Kentucky. Oh, so um, so as I went on this journey, I started to really grab onto a couple things that I knew would help other people, which is then why I wrote the book. If you can see it in the background there, it's right here. It's called Get Courageous Now, A Woman's Guide to Finding Her Passions and Purpose in Life. I said, because listen, if I know I'm not the only one who's dealing with the fact that I'm working a job that I absolutely hate. I hate using that word, but I didn't like it. And I need to change, but I don't even know what to change to. And I don't even know where to go from here, right? I don't even know where to start from here. So I started on this journey. I call it a journey of self exploration, right? Because this is what you all are going to have to do, a journey of self exploration. But it took me years upon years to really try to figure it out. But while I was trying to figure it out, it didn't stop me from doing certain things, right? And there's certain things that I'm going to tell you all about that we're going to talk about here on the show today. Hey, Yolanda, thanks for joining me from Phoenix, Arizona. We're going to talk about those things today in this session. So let's jump into it. First of all, word is purpose, right? It's just this. I feel like every time I say purpose, this whole like big, it's like this spooky thing, like purpose. It's like, ooh, child, no. Let's just cut it out, right? Purpose is really that thing that you were placed on earth to do. And what is that? To help somebody else, right? To help other people. Like that's all of our purpose in life. It's really tied to something that you provide to someone else versus yourself, right? Whether it be a job, a family member, children, spouse, whatever, it's tied to somebody else, right? It's the thing that you've been gifted with inside of you because it is a gift, right? Your purpose is a gift that you have. And yes, your gifts do absolutely matter. Even if they seem small to you, they absolutely matter. But it's that gift that was placed inside of you for you to share with the world. Yeah. Like, I mean, that should be exciting news. You want to know why? Because every one of us has a gift. Every one of us has a superpower. We all have a gift inside of us to do the things that we were placed on this earth to do. And it's your job to figure it out. It's your job to figure out what that gift is. And there's all kind of assessments and all kind of things that are literally can help you figure out what your gift is. But chances are you already know it. Now here's a couple misconceptions about purpose. People think that your purpose has to be only one thing. No, who said that? Come on now. Why? No. I mean, I do think that you could probably have an overarching purpose, right? My overarching purpose is to really help people, especially women, learn how to live the most beautiful, amazing life that they can live, right? That's my purpose in this world. Now, where the misconception comes in at is that people think that your gift is tied to a certain thing, like a vehicle. Well, your vehicle may be different, right? My vehicle is through communication and through speech, right? I get up, I talk in front of audiences all day long. I write books. I'm talking to you through the Dr. Kiki Ramsey Show right now. And so that is the vehicle in which I disseminate my gift. So, whatever you're doing in terms of your job, right? Whatever your job is, that's just the vehicle in which you disseminate your gift. It is not the gift, right? I hope y'all hear me. Give me some hearts, give me some love, give me some something, give me some yeses in the chat. Let me know that you actually understand what I just said, because I think that this is crucial, right? I think it's really, really crucial. You have a gift. I communicate. I can communicate in 1,000 different ways, right? Like I literally can communicate in 1,000 different ways. I can have a job that allows me to communicate with employees 1,000 different ways, right? But this way right here through the Dr. Kiki Ramsey Show or through my books or through keynote speaking or something like that is the way that I choose to disseminate my gift because it's very effective for me. But if you have a gift of communication, you might do it in a different way. You might be in leadership. You might be a CEO of an organization. You might be a VP of an organization, but you literally just disseminate it a different way. Thanks, Jordan, for joining me. And so I just wanted to get that out there and make that very clear that your gift is something that you were gifted to do. Your purpose is something that you were gifted to do, to give to the world, to give to other people. I know a lot of people hold that in, but the job is to give it out freely because there's literally somebody probably out there who needs your gift. There's somebody who is listening to me right now who needs to hear me say this to you. And for that reason, I'm so glad that I'm here and I'm able to help because when you don't know your purpose and when you don't really truly understand your gifts, then I think that you're depriving the world from something absolutely phenomenal and amazing. Somebody waiting on you, like it's the truth, right? So let me give you an example. Thank you, Yolanda, for joining me. And you teach work and with children. Absolutely. Oh my God. Kids are the first. Kids get this thing naturally. They're naturally gifted. I was looking at my daughter the other day and she was just singing. And my son, he loves to dance. I mean, these are things that come natural, and I encourage these things. And I think we should encourage these in our children, right? And so let me give you an example of a time when I clearly was able to help someone discover their purpose, but I've done it over the years. I mean, I feel like I've helped hundreds of people really do this and tap into their purpose, but this was one in particular that I love so much. So, I had my church when I was in Maryland. Shout out to Zion Church in Landover, Maryland. We had this whole event called Crabs and Conversation. In Maryland and Northeast, they love crabs, right? Like, and I'm from the South, and so I ain't know nothing about breaking up no crabs. And so over the years, I learned how to crack crabs and do all that stuff, and I love it. And being in Atlanta now, I missed that. I missed the whole like crab cracking and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, we had this amazing conference with women, and we just broke bread and we ate and we talked about just whatever, like just anything that came to our mind. And then as we were leaving, I was on the women's leadership team at my church, which was just such a blessing, a blessed time in my life. And so I was on the women's leadership team. And as we were leaving, I met this woman named Sharice. And Sharice I was like, what are you doing with your, what do you do? And she was like, oh, I do this. And she's like, what do you do? I said, oh, I actually am an executive coach, and I do some leadership coaching, career coaching, and everything like that. And she's like, oh my God, I need that. And I'm like, okay, great. So we exchanged information. And hi, Miss Reed, thanks for joining me from South Louisiana. And so we exchanged information, went about our business and everything like that. So I followed up with Sharice and I said, hey, you mentioned you want some leadership coaching, career coaching, I would love to help you. So long story short, we entered into a contract together for me to be her coach for 3 months, right? She was clear. I want to do this for 3 months and that's it. I think it's hilarious because I love that about her. And so we started coaching, right? And we started, going through questions because as a coach, I believe in powerful questioning, which is some of the things that I'm going to give you a tool for powerful questioning as well. So we started doing some powerful questioning and everything like that. And I came to this one question on one of our coaching sessions, and I said, hey, what did you want to be when you were younger? Right? That's one of I call it my purpose driven and passion driven questions, right? And they're in the book. But that was one of the things. So I said, what did you want to be? And she said, huh, well, I wanted to be a child psychologist, a child psychologist, and I was like, "Oh, that is super interesting." Now, mind you, she was nowhere near a child psychologist. She was in sales, and it was completely different from what she thought about being and doing, right, in her life. And so, hey Heather, thanks for joining me. So a Q&A will be nice. I know. Drop your questions in the chat, y'all. I'm gonna try to answer them, right? And so she said, I wanted to be a child psychologist. And I said, oh, well, okay. Where's that for you right now? She was like, no, I'm not trying to be no child psychologist right now, or anything like that. And I was like, okay, well, what about psychology? And she was like, yes, what I really love is working with people and organizations, and I like to know how people work, and da 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 da. And what was interesting is that at that very same time, I was about to embark upon my PhD journey. And I asked her a question. I said, have you ever heard of industrial organizational psychology? For any of you who don't know what that is, it's basically working with people in organizations through a psychological background, right? Industrial organizational psychology. And she was like, no, I've never heard of that before. And I said, well, I'm about to go to a meet and greet for this program at the Chicago School of Professional Psychology. Let me send you all the information about the program. Maybe it's something that resonates with you. She could not wait to get off the phone, right? Because she wanted to look over the program, tell her husband about it, everything like that. Long story short, we ended up at the orientation together. She ended up registered and getting accepted into the school, as did I. I love this story so much. Oh my God. We went to school together, y'all, and we both got our PhDs in AKA business psychology, which is the same, along the same lines of industrial organizational psychology. We graduated together, y'all, in the same exact program, and absolutely changed her entire life around from one question that I asked her, which was, what did you want to do when you were younger? Now she's running an amazing, amazing consulting business all around diversity, equity, and inclusion. And she's doing big things in the world. And we are still very, very, very good friends. She actually did a whole bunch of training for my company, the Positive Psychology Coaching and Diversity Institute, aka PCADI, say it fast 5 times, with a lot of our coaches, because she's just so versed in DE&I, right? But why do I tell you this story? Is because she was doing something completely different than what her actual purpose really was. And it took somebody like myself, who is an executive coach, to say and to really start probing and asking the right questions, right? We are sitting around in these jobs doing these things that we just hate to do because we're scared to either A, ask ourselves the right questions, or B, answer the questions that we've already been asked because we are scared of change. Baby, let me just tell you this. Change is inevitable. It's going to happen. And if you truly want to be happy in life, you literally need to figure out what you were placed on this earth to do and the vehicle in which you do it. I mean, otherwise you're just going to be unhappy. And who wants to be that? Okay, so let me just say this. If you look at a pie, right? Like this is like a circle. I might not be doing it really good, like a pie shape, like a circle. Work is probably 90% of the pie. And now, especially the fact that we actually live in a COVID era right now, work is so much of our time. So we absolutely have got to learn how to learn to love what we do. And so with that being said, I do want to leave you with, a couple different things on how you can begin to love what you do and begin to dig into your purpose. And so I will go back and answer the Q&A. But if you just joined us, tell me where you're joining in from, and we're going to dig into a couple of little tips and tools on how you can begin to discover your purpose in life and learn to do what you love, right? So, number one, I told y'all about the passion driven and purpose driven questions, right? So, in my book, Get Courageous Now, A Woman's Guide to Finding Her Passions and Purpose in Life. Yes, the book does apply to men. I just love women. I do, y'all. Hearts. So in the book, I have a list of like, I don't know, like 15 questions you can ask yourself, right? This is a self-guided process, right? I'm a coach. And so this is kind of a self-guided process. You can get the book on Amazon to kind of walk you through. But I think you can also go on my website, kikiramsey.com, and get a free chapter, which I think this is the chapter that I give out for free. But if you go to kikiramsey.com, you can get a free chapter of the book. Nonetheless, and so you can kind of get a preview of what the book is. Book is like. I actually just got the most amazing testimonial. So a woman who just read my book in the UK, she emailed me and said that my book was the most inspirational book that she's ever read in her entire life. Hello, somebody. I mean, that kind of stuff makes me smile, right? Because I didn't just write this book just because. I mean, I wrote it for people to read it. So I'm hoping that you'll go get it off of Amazon. But the first thing that you can do is you really need to start asking yourself some powerful questions, like some really powerful questions. I call them purpose driven and passion driven, but they're really powerful questions, right? That you can then sit down and sit back and reflect on them, because a lot of times we don't ask ourselves these questions, and so therefore we don't get the answers that we really need about our purpose. And so one of them is, when you were younger, what did you want to be when you grew up? What activities did you like back then? So like for myself, y'all, this ain't even related to what I would have done, but I wanted to be a wildlife scientist. Child, come on. I guess you can call me a somewhat of a scientist as a researcher, but I do love nature. And I love, hiking and all that kind of stuff. But a wildlife scientist, so this didn't apply to me, but it applied to Sharice. And so it worked for her. But I'm saying, like, these are a bunch of questions that you have to ask yourself. It's not just one question, right? A social scientist. Come on, Heather. That's what I'm talking about, right? That's what I'm talking about. What new things do you want to try? I ask this in some of my audiences when I do keynote presentations. I say, when was the last time you tried something new? Like, for real, like something new, done something new, went someplace new. Tell me in the chat, when was the last time you went someplace new or tried something new? Like literally did something new, tried a new skill, right? Because a lot of times when we wake up and we do the same thing over and over and over again, and there's nothing new, nothing spicy, we can't figure it out. Like I did so many things to get to the place where I'm like, okay, I want to be a keynote speaker, and then I also want to be a coach, right? But I did so many things prior to that. I was a real estate agent. I worked in retail. Like I did so many things to get myself to where I am right now. I was actually a social worker, and I still use those skills. And so just because you did something new don't mean you lose the skills. It means you just disseminate it in a different way. You still got the skill and the purpose is still there. I was a missionary. I was a short-term missionary in Africa for a while. Like you don't lose that stuff, right? And so that's one of the questions. What activities do you like now? Another question is, what makes you smile? What makes you smile? Woo-wee. What makes me smile? And what made me so another question here is, what makes you cry or angry? So what's interesting about that question for me, both of those questions, is what makes me smile and what makes me angry are kind of the same thing, right? What makes me smile is seeing women succeed at the highest level. Because what I truly believe, and this is not just a woman thing, but I truly believe that we as people only put out so much of what we're capable of. You, my dear, are capable of so much more than you can even imagine. Yet you probably play up to only like a small fraction of that. I know there's statistics around it, and I should have figured that out before I got on this live, but it's the truth, right? We are not playing up to our full ability. So so for me, I love to see women succeed. I genuinely like. I can see somebody else's success, and I'm in tears. And my husband like, why are you crying? I'm like, I'm just so happy for them. He was like, do you know them? No, I don't. I don't have to know you to be happy about your success. It's just the way that I'm wired, right? I'm wired that way, and I hope that people are the same way with me. But I know it's not always the case, right? But it's okay. It's okay. It's good. It's fine. It's who I am. But on the same thing, what makes me cry is to see people, especially women, who have so much to give the world but cannot see it. Right? I get so taken aback when I hear somebody, taking their life because they felt like there was nothing else to live for. Let me just say this to you, if you've been contemplating or if you've been depressed. I don't know, y'all. This is just on my spirit because I just got a call today that anyway, that just, rocked me to the core. If you feel like you don't matter, or you're so, you're in this place where you just think things won't get better, they will. They will. Tomorrow will come and things can be different. Let me just say that again. Today, if you make a decision that you can't take back, tomorrow won't come. But if you're in this place today where you're depressed and there's some things that are going on in your life that you feel like you can't handle, tomorrow will come and things can be different. Things can be different. Reach out to somebody who you know would care about you. So I just wanted to say that. So for me, when I was literally thinking about that question and what makes me smile and what makes me hurt, they're one and the same because, right? Because I I hurt so bad when I see people hurting, right? I hurt really bad. So when my mom was going through her drug addiction when she was living and stuff like that, like it hurt me so bad to see her going through that. And so my thing was I wanted to help her. I wanted to help her. And that's why I even got into social work in the first place, because I wanted to help my mom. And then I started helping other people with drug addiction and stuff like that. And so it just sparked this thing in me. Like, I know I have some words or some tools to help people overcome certain circumstances in their life, right? So that's one and the same. So what I say to you is, how you figure out your purpose, you need to get super intimate and ask yourself some really powerful, passion driven, and purpose driven questions. And you can get it in my book, the whole list, or you can go on my website and I think you can download a free chapter. The other thing is, you got to, first of all, I know this sounds really funny, right? Like, this might sound super simple, but these are all the things that I had to do before I was ever able to realize that I had a gift of communication and that I could talk to people. You have to acknowledge where you are and then where you want to go. Let me say it again. You have to acknowledge where you are and then where you want to go, right? Here's the thing. You cannot solve what you first want to acknowledge. Hello, somebody. Okay, like, here's the thing, right? I'm not going to go off on a tangent. I could, but I really think that we have a race issue in this country just because people won't even acknowledge that racism even exists. That's a whole another topic, right? It is, but it's the truth, right? But here's the thing about your life. If you are in a state where you are unhappy, and you don't like where you are at in your life, you don't like your job, you don't like your life circumstances, you don't, whatever, you don't like your weight, I mean, all this kind of stuff, baby girl, the first thing you're gonna have to do is acknowledge the fact that you are where you are. If you are, if you don't like the way you look, or you don't like what you do, or the people who you're around, you have to acknowledge that first and say, I just don't like this. I even told my husband that this morning, right? I've been on this, journey of getting healthier and stuff like that. But part of it is because I want a flat stomach. Y'all don't judge me, because y'all know y'all be the same way, okay? Right? I want a flat stomach, and I'm going to the beach in a month, and I'm going to give me a flat stomach. But I had to acknowledge that, Kiki, sometimes you don't eat like you need to eat. And it's the truth. And I'm always honest in my keynote presentations, baby. I struggle with the eating part, but I try, right? I struggle with it. Working out, I ain't got no problems. I ain't got no problems at all, right? I get up and get on my Peloton, aka Kiki, do you love me on Peloton? I get up every day and work out. But eating is an issue. And so I acknowledge that that's where I'm at. But here's where I want to be. I want to have a flat stomach, but also, I want it to be, I want to be healthy as well, right? Here's the thing, whatever motivates you, right? Getting a flat stomach motivates me. It's okay. It's fine, right? So you have to acknowledge where you want to go. You can have a whole GPS on your phone, whatever. But if you don't know where you want to go, you cannot even punch in the coordinates. You cannot even punch. You can't even say, you stuck right here. So if you don't know your purpose, right, you stuck. But what do you want to go? Right? So for me, for instance, forever, I've told myself, I want to have my own show. I want it to be nationally syndicated. That's going to come. But guess what? I have this platform right here where I can do a show, and I can have people, beautiful people like Lenora and Heather and Yolanda and everybody to tune in and watch the show right here on social media. The nationally syndicated will come. I know where I want to go. But right now, this is where I'm at. It's my purpose. It's part of what I want to do. It's part of the platform where I want to ultimately be, right? And so you have to first come to this conclusion for yourself. Where are you? Be honest with yourself. If you're not happy, you're not happy. A lot of times we try to tell ourselves we're going to be happy. I'm going to be happy. I'm happy, but you're miserable. You're not happy. So be honest with yourself, acknowledge where you are, and then figure out where you want to go. This question, when I used to have my conference, Get Courageous, I used to ask that question all the time. Where do you want to go? What do you want your life to even be like? And I would get tears and tears. And I'm like, what are the tears for? Because most people don't know what they want in life, to be honest with you. We know what we were told and what we're supposed to want in life, but we don't actually know what we want in life. We know what our parents told us, what our spouses, all this kind of stuff. But what is it that you actually want for your own life? You got to figure that out for yourself. And once you figure that out, it starts to shed a lot of light, right? It starts to shed a lot of light on your purpose in life, is when you figure out what you really want in your own life. And then the last thing I'm going to leave you with is to really begin to try and try new things, like ask for different opportunities. If it's in work, right? If it's at work, ask for, I know y'all may like, Kiki, Dr. Kiki, listen, I'm telling you the truth. If you're at work and you don't necessarily like what you do, either ask for some different responsibilities, or to try out a different department, or show up differently, right? Do things differently in the department that you're in to see if it's something that you like. If it's not something that you can get from the job that you are, it might be time to go and figure out something different. in your life. A lot of times we stay in the same position and in the same job because we fear what's out there. We fear the unknown, which is one of the biggest unknown, which is one of the biggest fears in the world, which is the fear of unknown. We fear the unknown, but the unknown is beautiful. In the sense that there's so many things that can be had and can be discovered on the other side of the door. There's so many things that can be discovered on the other side of the door. I don't know if any of you like this. If you've ever been in a relationship, whether you're married or not, prior to that or whatever, if you've ever been in a relationship and you were with this amazing person and you're like, oh my God, they're the most amazing person in the whole wide world, and then something happens and you guys break up. And you're like, I'm never, ever, ever gonna find anybody like that. But then you do. But not only do you find somebody like that, you find somebody better. But you didn't know it when you was with this person. You didn't even know something was better on the other side because you was too wrapped up thinking that this was the best that there was, right? And it's not. And it's like that for a lot of positions and jobs. This might not be the best that there is. There might be something else out there for you that you might need to try. And then if you don't want to go that route, if you feel like you can find what you need where you are in terms of your place of employment or whatever, start something on the side. A lot of people call it a side hustle, right? Because I honestly believe that you have to get enjoyment from somewhere as it pertains to work. So whether it's your job or something else, you have to get some kind of pleasure. And it doesn't have to be something you're paid for. It can be something that you volunteer for, right? But you have to derive pleasure from that thing. So when I was working full time for somebody else, I was speaking on the side. When I was working full time for somebody else, I was coaching on the side. And I think I've been full time in my businesses for maybe 5 years or so, where I get to do it every single day for my job because my speaking income rose to the level of my job income. And so that's when I was able to kind of let it go. And that kind of thing. So you have to find something that you derive pleasure from, whether it be something on the side that's paid, something on the side that's volunteer, or from the job that you actually have right now, or from the job but a different position. Like, you have to figure that out, because otherwise you're going to just be unhappy, and we are not building a nation of we don't want to build a nation of unhappy people. That's how you really figure out your purpose, is you start to try some different things. You got to step out this box that you put yourself in. You've got to be courageous enough, which is why the book is called Get Courageous Now, because I'm not trying to tell you that this stuff is easy. It's not easy, but it's necessary. It's necessary because happiness is a choice that you get up and choose every single day. It's a choice. And so if it is pertaining to your purpose and you really, really, really want to figure it out, you got to do those three things. Begin to get in silo, ask yourself these really powerful questions, acknowledge where you are and where you want to go, and then begin to just test some things out. Test some things out. So I'm so glad. Like, I could talk about this subject all day long because I have tons of more examples and everything like that. But we out of time, y'all. And so I am looking forward to absolutely talking to y'all next week on the Dr. Kiki Ramsey. Here's my call to action for you. If this message resonated with you, share it with somebody. Somebody needs to hear that somebody is waiting on their purpose, right? Like, somebody needs to hear that. So share it with somebody, whatever platform you're on, like, subscribe, do all those things, right? Because that's how it gets out into the world. But my goal is just to spread joy, right? It's to spread happiness and love, because we all matter. You absolutely matter. And so if it's a matter of wanting a keynote speaker for your next event, you can go to kikiramsey.com. And if you want coaching for your organization, my company, the Positive Psychology Coaching and Diversity Institute, we do leadership and diversity coaching. Go to www.ppcadi.com. And that's the acronyms for the Positive Psychology Coaching and Diversity Institute. Until next time, y'all. See you later.